Hello everyone, my name is ㅤㅤㅤㅤㅤ and today I'm going to be telling you about a new feature added into NVIDIA's control panel which will affect Dead by Daylight. So recently NVIDIA announced a new feature coming to their GeForce control panel, which is the game filter. And with this game filter you can apply all sorts of different effects to the way that your game looks, whether it be increasing the brightness, increasing the exposure, increasing contrast, decreasing contrast, etc, etc. Now, as you may know, especially if you play Killer, a lot of the game's potential graphics options have been locked out, and I can only presume this is for the sake of making sure killers see the same thing and they can't modify their game to make it easier to spot survivors, as even though it's not commonly used anymore with the current palette looping meta, stealth is meant to be a big factor for survivors. So I wondered, could this new game filter be used to make the game easier for killers to spot survivors? And I'm primarily thinking about Claudette hiding in dark corners, as that is the most common method of hiding that you'll see in this game. So I went into a private match and I messed around with this overlay. And within about 10 minutes, I had created a combination that could definitely make the game much easier. I used a test Claudette hiding in a very dark corner of the map wearing the darkest clothes she has, and with this tweak, I made it very easy to spot her there. Another thing to note is the fact that these changes only show on Shadowplay, so if I was recording with OBS and I was using this whilst doing a live stream or a video, these changes would not show, the game would look completely normal. Now before I show you the changes, just let me remind you that these changes were done very quickly, just me making sure that this was actually possible. If somebody spent much more time on this, they could easily get better results, so just keep in mind that this change is only from me messing with it briefly. And with further tweaking, that difference could be even greater. And that makes me ask, why are programs like Reshade banned from Dead by Daylight if this is considered okay? And it's not even like NVIDIA just did this without BHVR's permission. This game is one of 100 games that have been given this early access feature, which does likely mean that the game devs have chosen to have this implemented. And even if they haven't, even if they think that this is against the rules, how are they going to do anything about this? This can't be shown with video evidence unless they're using Shadowplay, and this can't be detected with easy anti-cheat as it's not going on within the game's boundaries. This is happening after the fact. And because of that, I will show you how to replicate these options that I had if you want to do this yourself. Because as of right now, nobody has stated that this is not allowed, and even if it isn't, they have pretty much zero way of doing anything about it. So the first thing you need to do is actually gain access to this feature, and you can do that by going into the GeForce Experience control panel, clicking on the settings cog in the top right hand side, and then ticking Enable Experimental Features. For some people the feature doesn't activate until they restart, but for me it works straight away. Now what you want to do is run Dead by Daylight. Once you're at the main menu, you can open the NVIDIA overlay by pressing Alt and Z by default, and then clicking on Game Filter. From here you will be greeted with this menu, and you want to start by clicking on Style 1 and then apply the following settings. Details. Set the sharpen to 0%, the clarity to 100%, the HDR toning to 100%, and the bloom to 0%. Next you want to go on exposure, and set the exposure to 70%, the highlight to 50%, and the shadows to 50%. Next you want contrast, you will set the gamma to 100% and the contrast to 100%. And last but not least, you will want to add colour and set the vibrance to 37.5% and the colour enhancer to 0%. The vignette is only a personal preference, so I won't bother adding that in. I know, the game does look horrendous at the main menu with these settings, but trust me, when you get into a match it won't be as bad. Emphasis on as. The game will still not quite look pleasant, but it will definitely help you out. So thank you for watching, I really hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know your thoughts on these new changes in the comments below, and be sure to follow me on Twitch if you want to see any streams from me.